Happy Phantasmal Flames release date. We're already seeing both sealed and single prices drop as of this release morning. Let's just jump straight into currently what we're seeing in this Pokemon market update. And we have to start obviously with the Mega Charizard SIR number 125. Currently, we're starting to see these hit TCG Player. You can see, at least as of this recording, 24 copies are currently listed and they have been selling this morning. We've already sold a handful this morning. So current market price, they have listed at 909. However, lowest listeds are in the 700 range, 750, 795, 795, and then it jumps up into the $800 range. So we're already starting to see this card start to come down at least a little bit. It'll be very interesting to see how this one plays out long term, because at least from what we've seen on the internet, between pre-release events and just people getting product early, we have seen like this card is pretty easy to pull. All things considered, it is a very small set, so there's really not that many SIRs. That's not really surprising. We'll see if the market gets flooded with these cards, like how low it goes, although there will be a lot of people probably trying to snatch them up. So it's going to be kind of interesting. Make sure you guys stay tuned, because I will keep you guys updated as this card develops over time. But that's at least what we're seeing for raw near mint copies right now. For PSA 10s, we did just cover this the other day, that there's already PSA 10s out there that have been sold for in the $4,000 range and the $5,000 range. And then just a little bit of an update. We do have some auctions on eBay going right now. A 10 right here, ending in 10 hours at 3,200, and then you got another one ending not for 4.5 days at 3,100, and then another one at 5 days at 2,400. So it'll be interesting to see how these ones pan out as well. So yeah, very, very expensive out the gate. That's not to be surprising. Like the first PSA 10s of any big chase card always have like a really, really insane high price. So $4,000 to $5,000 for this card in a 10, especially with apparently how plentiful they are. You know, those people who bought those are going to be hurting after that. So well, it'll be interesting to see where the 10 price settles. We'll definitely need some more time before we get there, but very, very interesting. I'm going to be really keeping my eyes glued out for the Charizard. Then we have the gold Charizard right now, which you can see on TCG Player. TCG Player has a market price of $895. Lowest listeds are all lower than that right now. You have one in the 700s at 775, then you go 8 into the 800s, 820, 840. So it'll be very interesting. This is going to be harder than the Charizard SIR to pull, but I think most people are going to want the SIR Charizard, obviously. And this is a bad picture of this card, by the way. This card looks much better than this. This is like missing everything on here. So I don't know where they got this scan from or whatever, but yeah, currently at just under $900. I have a feeling that this one will drop in price. I just don't know to what extent. Even though it's harder to pull, I think people may desire the other one more. I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things where it's just not, that other SIR card we just were talking about is just so good. So that'll be, I'm sure there's some people that obviously want the gold card, and that's probably their chase. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I think that the majority want the other one. So it'll be kind of interesting to see if this one drops enough and the other one leapfrogs it. So currently, this is what we are seeing from the gold number 130 mega hyper rare. Next up, let's talk about some sealed product. Booster boxes have dropped upon release. Like I said, they were going to, in some past videos. So you can see, as of today, booster boxes have sold as low. On this little thing right here, you can see the low prices of the day. They have sold as low as $280. And this is usually what happens early in the morning. Not everyone is allowed to list on TCG Player until the actual release date. So it was only brick and mortar, so now everyone is allowed to. A lot of people will come in early, and there'll be a little bit of undercutting that happens, right, on release. So all things considered, the booster boxes are not horrible, right? I know this is very expensive. This is well above MSRP, but they're at around $290 right now, and lowest listeds kind of all reflect that in the $290 range. But they did drop a little bit. There was some deals to be had this morning. I don't know what time these sold, but they did sell around $280. There was a handful at least, so that did happen. They're still, once again, relatively affordable, all things considered. Boxes were this low a week ago. Just keep in mind they were selling as low as $270, but an average of $290 a week ago as well. So we'll have to see maybe if these continue to drop as the day progresses. It just kind of really depends what people are willing to list and sell for. So right now booster boxes are somewhat affordable. At least they're under $300, but still very expensive. Just compared to you know, where the the current state of the market has been. I guess it's not horrible. Could have been worse out the gate. We did talk about them possibly being around 350, so they're significantly lower than that. Pokemon Center ETBs. Now this is the one that has dropped the most, right? They still have the market price at it's like lagging behind, which often happens on TCG Player when stuff's moving quickly. $468. However, all the lowest listeds are much lower than that. 292, 300, so about 300-ish for the lowest listeds, and then it goes up. It'll be an interesting one as well as everything from the set, but to see where this kind of goes, because if I'm being completely honest, not that I don't like the promo, but the promo leaves a lot to be desired. And in the past, you know, the boxes that have performed best have had the best promos. And this is a very nice looking box, right? Pokemon Center, it's a stunning looking box. I'm not taking away from the box. I like that a lot. So it's great as a display piece in and of itself. But, you know, for anybody looking to pick up the stamped promo in there, I think it's rather lackluster. So I don't know how much this is going to continue to drop, but you can see also, let's see how low the sales were. There were some sales that sold, let's make sure this is today. Click on the 1 month. As low as $250 today. So these have been lower, right? They're right at 300 now, but they have been lower today. There was a few listings there. So once again, deals to be had on release morning. Some of them may have passed and some of them still haven't been listed yet. So that's just kind of the way that it works with the sealed products. So at least they're dropping in price, which is a good sign. I would expect that these will continue to drop into the 200 range to some extent. I don't know if that just means upper 200s or what, but I would expect that they would dip into that price point, you know, as more people get their ETB shipped out to them. So just keep that in mind. I would expect a little bit of a dip, mostly because of the promo. If we would have had a better promo, I think this thing would be going absolutely crazy right now, but a little bit lacking there. Next up is this is the regular Elite Trainer box now. Current market price is around 100, and you can see all on this one, actually, the lowest listeds are all actually a little bit higher than that, right? We're seeing 105, essentially, 105 and up. However, I'm sure there was some that sold, yeah. So once again, November 14th, you can see there was some that sold as low as $90. So a handful might have sold lower than that. It just really depends, and there may be more people that come and list, you know, today, tomorrow, and through the weekend as people get more product. And also I have heard that some distributors have had, there's some delays. I know that one of my, well, not really LGS, it's like an hour away, but one of my somewhat local game stores, one of their distributors or multiple distributors have delays on Elite Trainer boxes as well. So that may be playing a little bit of a factor here with the ETBs. So, but we are seeing obviously the lowest price that we've seen in the past 30 days is at release date for ETB. So at least that is a positive. So yeah, some good news there. At least it's still expensive, guys, but at least you know, we were accurate with the release date pricing. Should be cheap. And in some cases, like we looked at some other sets in other videos, it should be cheap, and possibly the cheapest might be at release date, because we have seen popular sets, you know, like Prismatic Evolutions, cheapest at release date, and then it went up until, you know, more time went by and then they got more product, right? But at least like for the first official, like initial few months, it's a definite possibility. So just keep an eye out on that. Regular ETB is currently around $100. So if you're seeing anything under 100, that's a pretty good deal, honestly, on an Elite Trainer box. Then I want to talk about the sponsor of today's video, which is Shiny. You need to be using Shiny and tracking your collection, whether you have raw, graded, sealed, anything, Pokemon, Lorcana, One Piece, Yu-Gi-Oh, anything that you have, you should be tracking it in Shiny because it has the most accurate and up-to-date prices for everything. It has great charts and graphs. It has a very accurate card scanner, and it is what I use to track my personal collection. The market is moving so fast right now. We were going up crazy. Now we're correcting right now, but maybe you're pulling new cards out of Phantasmal. You need to be seeing what those cards are worth. And the best way to do that is with Shiny. It just tracks everything, has great graphs, and they are adding features constantly. So make sure you check out Shiny. It is completely free to use. You don't have to take my word for it, though. They have 4.9 out of 5 stars with over 1,200 reviews on the Apple App Store, with a ton more on the Google Play Store as well. So make sure you check out Shiny, completely free to use. There is a paid version if you want to access some more features, but you can use it for free. Link in the description. Next up, we'll get back to some of the cards from the set. This is the Dawn SIR, number 129. You can see TCG Player has this at a market price of $86. However, lowest listed, this one doesn't surprise me. Not that this is not a nice looking trainer card. I think it's a nice looking card. You got some great mountains in the background. She's pushing the bike. It looks fine, right? It's a trainer card. They don't really do as well in English. I'm sure the Japanese version of this might be doing better. But right now, lowest listeds are all starting to see in the $60 range. So this is something that we'll probably see. A lot of these cards that aren't the Charizard probably continue to heavily drop into the future. So if you're looking at doing a master set, which, by the way, this is probably a pretty good set to do a master set of. Just keep that in mind. It's a very, very small set. You obviously have some expensive cards with the gold Charizard, with the Charizard SIR. After that, things are pretty cheap. So if you're wanting to do a master set, Phantasmal Flames may be a good one. Just keep in mind, very, very small set. The smallest set we've had in a long time, honestly. So into the $60 range, this will probably continue to drop. Once again, not a difficult card to pull. There's not that many SIRs. So, and unfortunately, this is a set that you'll probably see a lot of any other SIRs besides the Charizard, because it's kind of like Charizard or bust mentality. And so people are going to be rather disappointed if they pull the Dawn, and they're going to sell it, right? A lot of people will. So we're already seeing 72 copies currently listed on TCG Player, right? And we've seen only a handful sell today, but 72 already listed. So this is going to be a race to the bottom with a card like this. So just keep that in mind as things progress. We should see a lot of these cards that we're about to talk about drop. This will be an interesting one. This is the Charizard full art right here, the ultra rare, number 109. You can see it was 103 back here. Now it's down to 76 market price. However, look at the lowest listeds. This one, people will still want this card, I think, but once again, it's not the card you want overall. Obviously the big expensive one. People will settle for this one because it is a nice looking card. I do like the way they did the full arts, but lowest listeds right now, market at 76, not accurate. Stuff's moving too fast into the $40 range, 49 and 50 currently. So that'd be an interesting one to keep an eye on. I wouldn't be surprised if that one continues to drop as well. But here, these next two, unfortunately, are some of the ones that are probably going to see the biggest drops into the next month or two. This is the Mega Lopunny number 128 SIR. Not that it's not a cool looking card. I think it's fine looking card. It's an SIR. But people are going to be disappointed if this is the SIR that they pull out of their packs, if they actually open enough packs to pull one. And it's not the Charizard. That's the unfortunate nature of this set. I'm sure there's Mega Lopunny fans out there and they'll be thrilled, but I think they're obviously in the minority. So current market price $60, lowest listed in the 50s. This one will continue to drop. We'll have to see how low some of these SIRs go, but if you go off of some of the other SIRs from some of the other sets, the less desirable ones, that some of them have dropped pretty big and they're pretty affordable. So once again, that bodes well for you if you're a collector and you want to collect more cards and possibly master set. That's looking really well, really good for you guys. Here's another one preface, I actually really like this card. This is the Mega Sharpedo number 127. I think this is a great looking SIR, and I think I've seen some videos of how the texturing looks. And I haven't seen it in person, but I think this card is going to look stunning in person. Current market at 55, lowest listed's already into the 40s. So once again, you can already see 44 copies currently listed on TCG Player. I think this is going to be a pretty cheap SIR, all things considered as well. It's just not popular enough. Although, like I said, very cool looking. I like the card a lot. I just don't, it's Sharpedo. I just don't think it's popular enough once again, right? So this is one that's going to probably drop. So once again, if you're looking at picking up these SIRs, just wait on these. They're definitely going to be much cheaper moving into the future. Next up is booster bundles. Booster bundles have been dropping. You can see we're at an all-time low on booster bundles. Look how low they have been. Let's see how many have been selling today. 145 booster bundles sold this morning. Once again, it's pretty early morning on the West Coast, at least. It's like 10 a.m. Eastern as of this recording, but like 7 a.m. Pacific. So currently around $50 for the booster bundles, and these probably will hold around this price. They may dip a little bit more. It really depends into the 40s, but 50's that's a pretty decent price, all things considered, for a booster bundle, based off what we've seen from other sets. So at least for the initial wave, 50 is not too bad. It's definitely above MSRP. I know, guys. Trust me, I'm with you. I don't want to pay 50 for a bundle, but it's just where we're at currently. So Phantasmal Flames booster bundles, they did drop from 67 down to 50, much more affordable, at least for the time being. So booster bundles down. These are illustration rares that I actually really have my eye on. Two IRs from the set that I actually really like a lot. This is the Meowth, which was supposed to be a Japanese exclusive, but then it came to English, so wah for those who bought it in Japanese, unfortunately. But this card has so much nostalgia. Obviously, just Meowth being a Gen 1 Pokemon. But in case you guys have missed it, these buildings, are from the Game Boy games in the background. You can see people have done it where they've pulled up the screenshot or the map from exactly where these buildings are. But if you played the original Red and Blue, you're going to recognize these buildings in the background. So this is a must-own card for me. I was actually really glad that I held off in Japanese and not picking up this card because it was much more expensive. And look at what we're seeing now. I mean, obviously, card's been dropping, right? It was as high as in the $50 range. Now it's at 24, lowest listed 21. So this is another one, not a big set. And I'm like, all right, drop this card price down. There's already 148 copies on TCG Players. So this is another one where if you're wanting to pick up the Meowth, I'd probably just wait a little bit. You're going to see this card continue to drop, and I am here for it. Let's get some affordable illustration rares. It's a great IR, cool Pokemon, obviously Team Rocket nostalgia there, but the Game Boy tie-in for me is like, yeah, I'm going to pick up this card, and I can't wait to see how much it drops. So this is one that, I'm going to let it drop. I'm here for it. Next up is the Dugong. I feel like, I don't know why people wouldn't like this card, if I'm being honest. It's got the Aurora Borealis going. I understand that Dugong, not the most popular of the Gen 1 Pokemon, but this is a nice looking card. I like this card a lot, and I'm happy to see it drop. I mean, current market price at $10.56, lowest listed in the 9s. So another one where I'm just like, okay, let's see how far it drops. I mean, we recently talked about that Inteleon illustration rare, which I did like. I don't think it's as nice as this Dugong, not a Gen 1 Pokemon either. But that one's around like $3 right now, I think. So if this drops, it continues to drop pretty big, or hopefully if I actually, I haven't gotten any product as of yet, I should have some shipments coming in today for Phantasmal. If I pull this card, obviously it's one that like I'm not selling, I'm not doing nothing with it, it's just going in my binder, or potentially even grading if it's like a nice looking card. I wouldn't mind having it in a 10, even if it's not really that valuable. I think it's a nice looking card. So I like the Dugong with the Aurora Borealis and all of that. I think this is a really great looking underrated IR. There's one other great card. It's the Piplup, but as of this recording, it wasn't showing up on TCG Player. So I don't know what, for whatever reason, maybe it was just glitched at the time, but the Piplup is another one that I actually really like from this set as well. But the Dugong, I'm keeping an eye on, and we'll have to see, how low some of these cards can drop, but I am absolutely here for it. Last up is just a little bit of an update on sleeved packs. If I'm buying like single packs, I prefer the sleeved personally. I just think it's a much better, safer option as far as getting individual packs. Current market price at $13.30, lowest listed's pretty much right around $11. So the lowest that we have seen these packs go for, and it looks like the lowest sold as of today were around $10.49. So these have been a little bit lower at some point this morning, but pretty affordable, all things considered. Once again, that is comparing it to the current state of the market and where things are at. And no, we should not be paying $10 a pack for a new set, but it's just the reality of the current situation in which we are in. And lastly, we are doing a giveaway for Phantasmal Flames. This is the video right here. There will be a link in the description if you guys want to enter it. You will still have time. We'll either be doing the drawing on the 16th, which is Sunday, or I'm thinking about delaying it by a day to Monday, November 17th. So make sure you stay tuned with, stay subscribed and with notifications on, because you're going to want to make sure you watch that video when we announce the winner so you can claim your prize. We have had a few people in the past not claim their prize from the giveaways, and there's nothing I could do. I don't know. I can't get in contact with the winner. So you have to claim your prize so we can verify that it's you, and then I can get your shipping information and ship everything out. So, you know, I want to be able to give this product out and make sure, you know, it gets claimed. Most people claim the prize, but there's so often in one of the giveaways, there's somebody who just doesn't claim one of those prizes. So Phantasmal Flames giveaway. Very excited about that. Booster box, ETB, booster bundle, tons of stuff that we are giving away. Very, very excited. And very excited just for Phantasmal Flames in general to be out. I know that I'm going to do some more card hunting today. I struck out yesterday when it came to Walmart and Target, but we're going to be going out again today into the wild trying to get some. I'm also going to be going to one of my somewhat local game stores to pick up some pre-orders, so very excited about that. We'll see if my Pokemon Center stuff shows up today. I did get a tracking number going out for one of those, but I'm not sure about the booster box and Pokemon Center ETB, so we'll have to see if that shows up as well. So hopefully we'll be having some opening videos in the future for Phantasmal. I just don't know to what extent that is going to be. So thank you so much for watching. That's just a little bit of a market update. I like to do it. We'll do another one. I don't know how soon, probably within a week, 2 weeks, somewhere around there, focused solely on Phantasmal, unless there's been something else that happens, like big before then, like we see some big price movement, because, you know, I would like to like get a baseline, and it's nice to go back and reference this video, be like, okay, release morning, what was it like? And then we can just, you can watch this video and be like, well, on release morning, this is what it was like. This is where the prices were, and we can kind of compare. So that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. And remember, it was never a phase.